No, happy Wednesday. Um, it feels so strange being doing these videos again, but hope everyone is off to a great start this semester. So this week we were talking about the American School Counselor Association ethical standards for school counselors. That's helpful. Um, and so the ethics code that I chose for this discussion was 8.2, which is confidentiality. And basically, this section of the ethical standards kind of talks about how um, professional school counselors have the job to inform students of kind of like the ins and outs of like the purpose, how the structure will be, the procedures in place for how they will get counseling. It does also explain the limits of confidentiality and how, you know, yes, we will keep your conversations confidential as long as it doesn't cross the line of, for the safety of themselves or others or in situations like that. Um, some of the benefits of having this code in place, I think, is that it kind of really helps to create that safe space for students. It kind of really outlines what the counselor needs to do in order to maintain that safe place to share for kids. And then just to have clearly defined limits of what is confidentiality, what is not, what's expected of it. And I think just having that in place really is a good and helpful guideline, um, especially because school counseling is such a tough, sometimes you're put in tough situations where confidentiality is an issue. Um, which leads us into the next question that says, what would be the potential pitfalls to the counselors if the codes were not in place? Um, I think if we didn't have such explicit um, standards of what is and what is not confidentiality, I think counseling sessions and things that are shared, who they're shared with, could definitely get very messy very fast. And then it could just create all kinds of problems uh, in terms of like privacy and FERPA and all that. So I think having these clearly defined ethical standards in terms of confidentiality kind of prevents some of those pitfalls. When I think about if there's any potential conflicts between the ethics code and the accountability expectations in the educational environment, I would say yes. And I think in terms of sometimes students want to come into your office and discuss um, maybe certain topics or want advice or help in certain situations or certain things that they don't necessarily want their parents to know that they are seeking help with. And I think that's where it gets tricky because, obviously we can't see students without parental consent because they are minors. Um, so I feel like that kind of creates a tough situation between wanting to be there for the students and help them out, but also know that, we have accountability expectations. Like we have to, make sure that all parties involved are informed of the counseling situation and making sure that we're getting the correct consent. Um, and when I think about what are some challenges or situations that you could see associated with this portion of the code, um, I think about like when we have students who come and share um, maybe something private that happened to them about a sensitive topic, or um, maybe there's some type of like physical or emotional or abuse going on. And obviously we're, legally mandated to report it. And that's definitely, falls within the realms of confidentiality that, yes, I want you to touch, I want you to share this with me. But now it's in kind of going into the line of safety of themselves or others. And so I feel like the dilemma there is that sometimes kids want to feel like they can trust you when they tell you things. And although we have to report it and we're doing this for what's in their best interest, they might not see it that way. Um, so sometimes they might feel like you betrayed my confidence. Like I came and I trusted you. I told you this. And then you turned around and told somebody else, or like you reported it. Um, so I think that's where it can get tricky, where we have to make it clear from the beginning, what is confidentiality and what is the extent of that confidentiality, and just make it clear that all parties involved are aware that, yes, what we discuss, in our sessions or, when we're talking is kept confidential, but it's to a certain extent. Once it crosses the line that they're hurting, it could hurt themselves or others, obviously it's going to have to get reported or repeated. And so that way the kids understand that it's not that I'm not trying to betray your confidence in me, your trust in me. I'm just trying to look out for you and your best interests, and just making sure that everybody, sorry, that everybody understands what confidentiality is all about. And that's all I have. Can't wait to hear everybody else's thoughts. Have a good one.